The police chief says an off-duty officer got into a minor crash with another driver. The two pulled over, and that's when Chief Jeffrey Norman says the driver pistol whipped that off-duty officer and both exchanged gunfire.
Greetings to all of you who back the blue, and welcome to another segment of Facts Over Feelings brought to you by Support Our Shields, where we cut through the noise and get straight to the truth. Today, we're diving into a tragic shooting that took place in Milwaukee that had emotions running high and narratives unraveling fast.
This is a story that happens too often in our community here. How does a minor accident change into a deadly force situation? Unacceptable.
It involved a 26-year-old named Elijah Wilks and an off-duty police officer. A minor car crash turns deadly, with Wilks pistol whipping the officer and pointing a gun at him, leading to a fatal exchange of gunfire.
The family disputes the police account after they say witnesses approached them.
I wanted to know, why did you kill him? Why did you shoot him that many times? What was the reason? You know what I mean?
Initially, the family pushed back, but then the facts dropped like a hammer. And there was one family member in particular that stood tall and faced the hard reality. So let's set the scene here. An off-duty officer is driving in to work. He gets cut off by Wilks, who was on his way to a relative's funeral. Minor fender bender turns into chaos, because as the video shows, Wilks jumps out, slaps the officer across the face with his firearm, and points it right at him. The officer draws his department-issued weapon, fires in self-defense, and Wilks is killed. The mainstream media and social media does what it typically does, runs to conclusions and creates false narratives.
One woman says she was on the phone with Wilks when this unfolded.
Somebody hit the car, he got out, he asked him was he cool, and then all you heard was gunshots and get on the ground. You no longer heard Elijah say anything.
The family, who was understandably overwhelmed with emotions, is caught in the middle.
My cousin called me and said my cousin Elijah Wilks was killed. And we heard that he was killed by a police officer.
But it was Latrice Bell, Elijah Wilks' aunt, who really humanized it, owning the pain while calling it like it is. No excuses, no victim card, just raw honesty. Check it out.
We're definitely sending our hearts out to the officer's family and himself, with recovering, because when something like that happens, you don't even know it's about to happen. So no matter what the officer was thinking or Elijah, you just don't know what to happen. And from the video that my sister saw, it just happened so fast, along with B. Ivory, Mr. B. Ivory. I mean, everything just happened so quick. We wish it wouldn't have transpired that way, and it did. And my nephew, he made a decision that he should not have made. And that's just something we have to live with. A lot of times y'all hear about how good an individual was, but their actions don't depict who they were. But in this case, that's really who he was. That day, just a bad decision. And now we have to live with that forever. That's something we have to accept. We're going to accept. Again, we thank the Milwaukee Police Department. Like, the community really came out. We didn't want anyone to riot, get to, going off about anything. We just really wanted to know and keep things settled, because, again, we are one community. We all need to join together at some point in time, and everything that's occurring around the city of Milwaukee, it has to change. So no matter if you have an encounter with a police officer or just a regular civilian on the street. At that time, I don't believe Elijah knew that it was a police officer, but whether it was or it wasn't, the encounter should have been different. Encounter should have been different out the gate. So with that being said, not only continue to pray over our family, his family as well. Again, we don't need anything else to come out of this. She's very satisfied with the outcome. They showed her, we're okay with that, that's what it is.
Latrice Bell, hats off to you, ma'am. In a world where folks like Ben Crump would have twisted this into a possible payday and a media circus, screaming systemic racism and excessive force, you chose truth. You could have denied the video and continued to stir the pot while the public hadn't seen the footage yet, because the MPD policy says 15 days for release. But no, you stood there heartbroken, but clear-eyed, and said your nephew's choice led to this tragedy. That's courage. And that's what breaks the cycle.
And to a person, Elijah Wilks' family members accepted he was at fault. They mourned his death and also his actions today and urged others to not make the same mistakes.
We will acknowledge that we do believe that this officer-involved shooting was justified.
Early and often, Elijah Wilks' family and their attorney acknowledged the 26-year-old made a bad decision that resulted in his death Thursday morning.
I don't think I've ever come before and did a press conference and said this video does depict Elijah pointing the firearm at the off-duty officer, and the off-duty officer did respond what we believe in accordance with his training.
No blaming the cops, just accountability. That's the game changer.
I'd also like to thank the Milwaukee Police Department for their transparency and their professionalism.
And let's zoom out for a minute. This is why the BLM house of cards keeps crumbling.
It sounds like another situation of, from what I've been hearing, of a black man being killed, being shot too many times. I heard that his hands was up.
He did not pistol whip nobody. It all happened so fast. Whatever injuries that man had, it did not come from Elijah. They were already so many feet away from each other.
What? They scream for body cam, dash cams, transparency. And then bam, the footage nukes their narrative every time. Remember Michael Brown? George Floyd, riots based on half-truths? Same playbook.
On Monday, the family said they wanted to bring clarity so people could see what they saw.
I think that's critical for healing for this community.
But here, thanks to folks like Latrice Bell, the lie dies quickly. She's teaching a lesson. Own your actions, or they'll own you.
And I think we all can learn something from what happened today. And it could have been any one of us or any one of our kids, because we all are one seat away from making the wrong decision. So it's about thinking about our choices before we do something. And that's all I have to say.
And I want to say shout out to the whole Wilks family and Attorney Lamar too. And like she said, that could have been any of us, one bad call away from disaster. But Latrice, you are the MVP today. In a country drowning in denial, you're a beacon of facts over feelings.
Originally, the family asked MPD to hold the video for 2 weeks to give them more time to grieve. But when social media posts questioned what happened, the family wanted the video out immediately to combat any false claims.
And hopefully, this inspires more folks to skip the outrage Olympics and face reality head on. And that might just save lives down the line.
This city needs to heal. Elijah was just 26 years old, and we have to be responsible for decisions that we make. He made a bad decision yesterday, and unfortunately, it came with dire consequences.
So that's a wrap for this segment of Facts Over Feelings, brought to you by Support Our Shields. If you've been redeemed by the King of Kings, and if you love this nation and the freedom that it brings, then I'm your brother, no matter your color. But remember this, life isn't fair, but God is just. Be blessed.